All right, everybody. Welcome to Two Legal Hookers podcast. We have now made it to episode 3, and we have a few guests with us this time, and I'm pretty freaking stoked about that. Tater, if you want to go on and
thanks for coming back and watching the podcast again. Thank you everybody for watching everything, subscribing, liking, and all that good stuff on the socials. This episode is going to be slow down, move over. Probably the most important episode we will do. We're going to revisit it a few times, I'm sure.
There'll be a couple parts I think we're going to plan to do.
Yeah. It's important to everybody in the tow industry, first responders, roadside workers. It's imperative. There's things that we need to work to change, which we're only going to do in legislature, which we're looking at Art's lights down there. We need blues.
Yeah, to the rear, even red and blue to the rear.
That's all they are, is to the rear of my truck, and they shut off at 10 miles an hour.
That's all we need is out the back. I'm not worried about them out the front. But little history on slow down, move over. The law actually began with a similar type of legislation in 1996. There was a paramedic who was injured while helping a motorist at an accident. There were no laws in place except for Good Samaritan law, which they were working, so it doesn't cover them. But there were no laws in place to protect roadside emergency workers. And the victim, the person that was hit, was actually found to be at fault. So I don't have the person's name, but they were motivated to push for legislation to protect emergency responders. The laws, the slow down, move over laws, are basically requiring motorists to do one of two things. Change lanes so that there's at least one empty lane between them and the roadside vehicle, or slow vehicle down to whatever speed is required in their state jurisdiction. I was looking around. A lot of states have people slow down to 20 miles an hour below the posted speed limit. Unfortunately, in Oregon, it's 5 miles an hour. You only have to slow down 5 miles an hour under the posted speed limit.
Don't you love that?
Wow.
I don't know about you, but yeah, getting hit at 65 versus 60, what's the difference? Like,
you can't run blue, but you can only slow down 5 miles an hour. Don't worry, you'll be fine.
5 miles an hour. So on a regular 2-lane highway, that's the only thing they have to do is slow down. They can't move over. There's no other lane. So yeah,
that needs to change.
Fortunately, every state has some variation of this law.
Believe it or not, since I've been running these blues for the last couple of years, has made a world of difference out here on 97 where it's 2-lane.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we all here in Oregon just need to do it.
Well, yeah, legally, Dustin makes a huge difference.
Legally, Dustin can run them. They run Texas, red and blue to the rear in Texas.
Texas allows it, and it's made a huge difference. So once I started, because back when we had some older trucks that I used to run only had ambers. I remember the first time we started running red and blues when when the laws changed here. It was wild how big of a reaction it makes. How people moving over from you.
So there's 11 states right now that allow blue lights: Iowa, Kansas, Missouri, Nebraska, New Mexico, New York, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, Texas, Washington, and Wyoming. They all allow blue lights out the back. Most of them will allow you to run any combination of amber, red, white, and blue. Or a blue and red, or a blue and amber. But all of those states do allow blue, at least out the back of the truck. Washington, I think, just did it last year.
Yep.
It was very recent.
Yes.
But even in Oregon, I stopped at the scale one day and I was hooking up a car down there. And the scale master came out and he was just kind of chatting with me, and we had red lights on that truck, and he was saying how important it is for the tow companies in our area to all switch over. He said he really, really believes that all the tow trucks, since they're allowed to run them, there should not be a tow truck in Oregon that doesn't run red, at least out the back, because it does help. I get people pulling over for me with the red lights, the red light bar out the front all the time. And that's how sometimes, Cody, truck 35.
Well, even the red lights do make an impact, because when I first started and I was training with you, I had the truck, I had a full red light bar and everything on it, and it made a world impact. Right now, I have all amber and white, and people really don't give a crap. So,
and
I mean,
that
So
truck,
right now, I am sitting at a park here in Klamath that is kind of a busy road, and I'm watching people as they come around the corner, they dynamite their brakes because where I have my truck sitting with the blue lights.
yeah.
it slows them down. It's
It
effective.
works.
It's showing literal effectiveness.
Yeah.
Right there as we're speaking.
And that's what we need to push for. We need to, all the towers, any roadside, even ODOT runs red on their response trucks.
Yeah, red,
Their
amber, and
emergency
white.
response, but on their
But they also
regular,
have sirens.
they also have sirens. Yeah.
also have sirens as well.
Well, yeah, because they are technically emergency responders. I don't know that we'll ever get there. I don't think we'll ever get there.
They call us to expedite the tow calls all the time. We get jammed up in traffic. State Patrol's still understaffed, and so is County Sheriff. They have no way to get us there.
Yeah.
I literally ran a rotation call
parked on both sides of the road, and they block up against the wall, and there's nowhere for us to go.
Now, when I was in Utah, when they told us to expedite, they told us to blow our air horns with the lights going.
Yeah.
DHB tells us the same thing, but how many people actually listen to that stuff? Majority of the time.
See, I asked Jackson County Sheriff once because they called us out for an expedite, and when I got on scene, I asked them. I said, "So, when you guys say expedite, what do you want us to do?" I said, "Are we supposed to be going through lights and all that?" And he said, "No. If you go through a light and you get a ticket, it's on you 100%." He said, "All we expect you to do when we say expedite is get in your truck and get here as quick as you can, safely following all traffic laws." So,
and then you go.
You're not even supposed to run your lights.
No, you're not even supposed to run your lights.
When Missouri calls them and says we need you to expedite, they have red and blue lights and sirens. Yeah. They run all the way to that call.
Yep. And a lot of cities are like that with their tow trucks because of the traffic. The tow trucks need to have the lights and the sirens to get traffic out of their way.
Again, this is all point showing where how effective it is just on one simple color or two simple colors of light patterns. We're not saying we're going to go out respond, and I'm not saying I can't vouch for everybody because I know there's stupid people who can absolutely blow it for each state. You know what I mean? It's legal in Texas, and I'm sure there's people out in Texas that are absolutely ruining it.
Oh yeah.
So they're all over.
I mean, but once you have your reliable people, you get your good people. He's out here literally in our state, Art, running those colors, not getting messed with because he's not doing it improper. He's not running it improperly. He's not causing hazards. He's not acting like he's some sort of emergency vehicle trying to, you know what I mean? He's not doing these things. He's portraying the good image and what we need to kind of roll off of.
Yeah. Yeah. So we need to push for blue. I'm just looking here to see if I missed anything. Hawaii was the last. Owner... Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Hawaii was the last state to pass a slow down, move over law, but all 50 states now have some version of it. Oregon had its first law in 2010, which was just a move over, slow down law. They actually recently changed it. 2017, it was changed to include any vehicle stopped displaying hazard lights. So even just a regular Toyota Camry on the side of the highway that has hazard lights on, you're supposed to slow down, move over for those people. Any roadside work, any amber lights, any warning lights that are on, including hazards. If you don't slow down, move over, you're technically breaking the law here. The other part of it, so 5 miles an hour is all you're supposed to slow down. And the offense, if you don't, is a Class B traffic violation. That's it.
Which is nothing.
It's nothing.
Yeah, was it like $122 ticket or something like that, or $242 ticket?
I couldn't find a price for it, but I mean, Class B, it's not. It's so low it doesn't.
It's like a steep belt ticket.
Not even a slap on the wrist.
It's them trying to get a little bit of money to say, hey, give me this.
Yeah, they can say they're enforcing it. Some statistics, they say that failure to follow move over guidelines results in the death of 60 tow truck employees each year, another 5 firemen and women, and about 12 police officers. On average, almost 24 highway workers are killed each month due to negligence. So, I tried to find statistics. Tow Times has a list of fallen, and it's for truck drivers that were struck. it's only a handful. Last year was pretty low, but one is too many. One is
Literally.
too many,
Right.
and
This year, there's already been five or
Mm,
six.
Six.
yeah,
I believe I read
so
6.
Yeah,
we're
so
we're
that's
racking them up pretty quick.
we're just now
Um,
coming into March. This is gonna release.
That's
This is gonna be released. So you guys are
it.
seeing this on March 3rd, and there's already 6.
Yeah.
That's basically 2 a month if you want to put it since the new year started.
And it's
Yeah.
not even summertime yet when people are actually active,
Oh,
when
yeah.
people are actually, kids are out of school, people are traveling around,
The tourism
Month,
and everything
it's been
starts hitting
honestly,
everywhere.
it's been 3 a month because we're hardly even rolling into month 3 right now.
Yeah. We're basically still in 2. We're in 2,
Yeah.
so that's
Yeah, and that's still again one too many.
yeah. So, Art, I don't know if we'll get you. I can't see you at all.
Nope, I see pretty lights though.
I see pretty lights. Art, if you want to
Imagine
introduce
rolling
yourself.
up on that. Imagine rolling up on that as you're coming up Highway 97 at 65 miles an hour.
I'm gonna slow
looks
down
like I
because I'm
would
gonna think it's
definitely
a
slow
trooper or
down.
something. Yeah. Art, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us why you're here today?
I'm Art Kilgore. I'm in Klamath Falls, Oregon. I manage and in the process of taking over M&C Towing. It's been a business here for about 25 years now. I've always been part of the Slow Down Move Over. 15 years ago, I was part of a Facebook page, Respect the Tow Operator. I still have the sticker in the back window of my pickup. A couple years ago, I got the worst phone call ever of my best friend, which he and his father owned Hughes Towing here in Klamath Falls. His dad called me to go pick up his truck because he was struck and killed on the side of 140 outside of Klamath Falls on the way to Medford. And that point there, everybody thought I was going to give up being a tow operator. I had been doing it for I want to say about 22 years at that point. And now I have dedicated this truck that I drive for a memorial to him because he was huge on the Slow Down Move Over. And he was huge on it. He was a part of every time a tow operator got hurt. He was always wanting to go do these memorial runs. He and I would go out together on these calls so we would have extra lights on scene. Because I have always been the crazy one to go above the law and run illegal lights, which they aren't really illegal, but they are illegal because they haven't been passed. I've been running the blue lights now for 2 years on this truck. Since I got this truck, I was the first one to run blues here. And I will always be pushing this Slow Down Move Over. I've had several near hits over the years. One of them did dislocate my shoulder with his mirror. But one of the things we need to do is we do need to get our trucks seen. Yes, I am not big on wearing the reflective out here because I feel I'm a moving target, but I have a truck that lights up enough and I have my head on a swivel 24/7 while I'm out here, and I never operate my truck on the danger side. It's just we've really got to get these people to start realizing they need to slow down anytime they see even a car, even a bicycle with flashing lights on it. We need to have people slow down, move over. I know Oregon state law is 5 miles an hour, but the common person should have a little more courtesy to somebody else's life. Because one person killed because they didn't slow down, move over is too many.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
mean,
if there's a lane, there's no reason not to move over if there's a lane next to you and you can go. I've even on a 2-lane road, I've even gone over into the other lane to just make sure, slow down significantly and get out of the lane. If there's nobody coming in oncoming traffic, get over, give the person on
I
the side
go
of the
over
road
the white
space.
line over there.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Literally just did it today. Somebody with their houses on the side of the road, no oncoming traffic, got in the middle.
Yeah. My boss is actually pushing us to start not doing a complete hookup on the side of the highway. He actually had one this morning that he did out by mile marker 40, and there's very little shoulder. So there was an accident there, and when he loaded up, he only hooked up on the passenger side because traffic was not moving over for him. And there was ODOT, there was OSP, so plenty of red and blue lights, and still people weren't moving over. So he did his hookup only on the passenger side, chain on the back, safety strap on the front, and got up off the highway to a pullout and finished his hookup up there. And that's one of the things he's actually pushing us to pay attention to. He went to the Baltimore Tow Show. They talked about it there. It's just another layer of safety. So I think that's a great idea.
That's actually a very smart idea. I've actually told my drivers over the years, if you're in a very unsafe spot on a blind corner, hook up just the necessities. I don't even care about a safety strap. Get to safety.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, you guys don't know where Spencer was killed. He was killed on a straightaway.
I worked an accident up there a couple of months ago. I could see the hat hanging on the pole.
Yes. And there was no excuse.
None at all. There's a mile before that of dead straight flat road. There's no way that he didn't see it. I talked to his dad. He came and picked up a truck at our heavy duty yard one day, a year ago or so. And he how many lights were on that truck? It was like 40 something lights out the back.
Okay. So my truck is, I'm going to pull this off of my stand. I don't know how well you guys could see that. That's a side view of my truck.
Yeah.
He had the same amount of lights down the side of his bed that were on.
Mm-hmm.
He had a cheap Welling version of the amber strobe lights on top. But he had, I don't even have my work lights on right now. He had, so there was a total of, on the side that was facing traffic, there was a total of 20 lights that were visible when we did the reconstruction.
Yeah.
Because he had his work lights on, because when I got there, somebody had shut the truck off and all of his overheads shut off with the key. Right now the key's on in my truck for mine to be on. So there was plenty of lights on the truck to be seen. We don't know. I can't really talk about details because that case has not been closed yet.
Yeah, it's understandable.
But there's just too many red flags on this case that I know Spencer, he would not go out and put himself in jeopardy, because we had worked numerous jobs together, from rotation calls to him jumping in the pickup and going out in the middle of the woods and doing an off-road recovery. He was always about safety first. And so it all boils down to people not paying attention and caring about other people's lives.
Careless driving.
Yep.
What time did the accident happen? Was it at night or was it during the day?
The time I got called, my wife was leaving for work, and I believe she left at 4:00 in the morning. And I called her to turn around, come pick me up. And she was probably 5 minutes away from the house. So it was about 4:30 in the morning when I went to get the truck, and I met the ambulance at the bottom of what we call Doak Hill, waiting for the coroners to get there.
So it was probably dark. There was plenty of light, plenty of line of sight. There was just no reason for it.
Well, okay, so my truck is lit up like this right now. His truck didn't quite light up as much as this one because I have the blues at the very back.
Right.
But his truck wasn't as bright because it had the ambers, and I kept telling him he needed to switch them. um, but the truck was very visible, and once I'm allowed to share pictures and everything of how the truck was set up, I will be sharing those. But I've been asked not to from
No,
attorneys and everything.
we
Right.
don't want to mess up this case, so we don't want to share any
No.
details like that. No, we want to make sure this case goes through and is successful.
And we are all pushing.
Yep.
And that's why we do a run for him every year.
Right. Man, well, I mean, yeah.
It's rough.
I-
It really is. Especially, you know what I mean. He's personally impacted by that, and somebody we know, as somebody we in the community know. You know, I mean, I know you, Josh and Dustin. You guys don't know him personally, but you know us three over here, we know him personally, and you know it's heartfelt, truly.
Unfortunately, the few times I've met Art, it's been for memorial drives. I don't think I've seen Art in any other situation. So
it's because I come over there and get out.
Yeah,
we usually
I don't
catch
blame
each
you.
other at the international store.
Oh,
Yep.
the one that is no more.
Yeah, I hate that.
Yeah.
Because that's all I own now is internationals, really.
Well, thank you for sharing that story with us.
Yeah,
really, it probably was for you.
And we hope that the case gets handled and hopefully properly comes through with the right verdict, because justice needs to be served for something like that.
Yeah,
it does 100%.
Well, thank you very much, Art. Jake, I think you said that you've had some run-ins as well.
Nice personal experiences.
Go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us your story.
I kind of feel like we've all had personal experiences at the end of the day when it comes to the stuff, you know.
Luckily, I've been close, but I haven't been hit.
Yeah, I think the last thing that I had to do was jump on the back of my bed because a truck and trailer didn't want to move. But that was it. I didn't get clipped or anything.
Yeah. Well, this is the only time I've been clipped, but I've had some near calls working service. But my name's Jacob. I worked in towing for 5 years, and I've been a service mechanic in running light duty and heavy. A couple of years ago in Weed, I was loading up a truck onto a back of 35 ton. And as I was walking back to my truck, I was clipped by a F-150 in his mirror across my left side rib cage, and then knocked me down to the ground. And you know, I was able enough to get up off my own feet and conscious to go home and still do my job. I hurt, but I still did my job. EMS shut up everything, signed their waiver to get me out. I did not. I told them, I said, if I'm gonna croak over, I'm gonna croak over in my own bed. I'm not going to the setting. You got me messed up. But I went over there, and I want to say that wasn't too bad. Probably my most scariest moment is when I was working up in Truckee, California. I went out to a service call, and I was in between the duals of a trailer, and a car spun out and went underneath the DOT bumper.
Oh, man.
And pretty much was about this far away from me.
Holy
and my
crap.
face on. I was staring at the headlights, then the Toyota symbol, staring right at it when I was underneath that trailer.
That's
Just
wild.
for a simple brake job. And the biggest thing is, them. It was their fault. They didn't follow road conditions and restrictions, saying that they were supposed to chain up, and they spun out coming down the hill and landed up almost face to face with me.
Man,
careless driving. See, it all leads to careless driving.
And you said that was in Weed?
The trailer happened in Truckee.
Okay.
But I got hit when I was in Weed when I first came up there.
Yeah. And what kind of lights were you running on your truck? Just ambers?
Ambers. It's all California allows.
Right.
Unfortunately. Reno, Truckee, still part of California. They only allow ambers, Reno is the same exact way. They don't have any other color light that allow you up there except for amber.
Yeah.
Over
Yeah, a lot of
time,
states are still just amber and white. They won't let you run any other colors.
they claim amber, but they don't claim any of the other colors, like green and all the other stuff. Which, as long as pretty much I've realized, as long as you stay away from blue or red, then you're pretty much clear to run any color light you want in the state.
Yeah.
But always
Do you not run green down there?
So Oregon, I got stopped in Oregon one time for running green, and it kind of blew me away. But I also didn't know that volunteer firefighters ran green there at the time
Oh.
in certain counties.
And it's EMS, I think, in New York too.
See, in Connecticut, fire was blue and EMS was green for the volunteers.
See, everybody's got different things, and this is why nobody can pull over, because nobody knows what the hell they're pulling over for.
Yeah. There's no consistency to it throughout the states.
Yeah. The biggest thing is, always look up your light penal codes in your state first before you go adding accessories to your truck that you're going to get ticketed for at a way station or on the side of the highway.
Yeah.
Always play it smart when you're adding these types of lights to your trucks, and double check and cover your ass and make sure you're insured on what you're going to put on.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Now, I got a question over there in Medford area. Have your fire trucks and ambulances started running blue lights?
They do.
Yes.
I feel like they all run blue, white.
They all run red and blue.
Ambulances, I'm not sure so much. I know
the ambulances don't. The county ambulances do.
Okay.
The ones that are tied to the fire departments, they do. Ashland Fire, Grants Pass.
The Mercy
outside
Flights
of AMR, but like Mercy Flights is all red and white.
Yeah.
And then Texas? What are they running?
You can run red and blue. Any emergency vehicle runs red and blues.
Okay.
They allow red and blue on the back of tow trucks, but it has to be amber facing the front, and you have to be able to have them on a switch to where you can turn them to amber in the rear also.
Right. Okay. And then what about Colorado? Sorry.
No, I was saying because they you have to be able to switch them, and it also says you can only run the red and blues when you're stationary at the scene of an incident. And an incident means even just loading a vehicle on the side of the highway. But if you're like off, not working an incident, you're just in a parking lot somewhere, whatever, and you turn your lights on, technically you're supposed to have the ambers on. Like working on like city street or whatever,
Right. Okay.
So
Dustin,
they would nail me to the wall right here.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't care over nobody messes with you, but that's technically what the law says.
Yeah.
And
Dustin,
then what about Colorado? What's Colorado like for?
I honestly didn't know what the tow trucks were because I've never looked into it before, other than just now. That says that they can run red and blues. I know that Colorado is very loose with some of the lighting stuff, because if you put a snow shovel in your vehicle, you're technically a snow removal vehicle now, and now you can run blue.
Okay.
I had a state trooper when I first moved out here. He seen that I did a bunch of stuff with lights, and he's like, "You should put blue lights on your car." I'm like, I don't really think I need blue lights on my car. He's like, "No, put a snow shovel in the back, and you're a snowplow." Like, well, I don't know if it works like that. He goes, "No, that's exactly how it works." And a lot of people, security companies, a lot of people use it as a loophole to get around. I'm like, oh, that's good to know.
So,
but up in the mountains, I know that all of like the heavy wreckers and things, because the heavy mountain rescues recently got on the Discovery Channel and stuff. So and a lot of their lights been a lot of the lighting groups and stuff like that, and they've got really nice setups. So they run red and amber on all of their stuff. So yeah, all of our plow trucks are amber. So when they're not plowing or they're not doing any like inclement weather, they don't run the blue. But if it's actually inclement weather, or they're off the side of the road, or they're doing road work, or like if it's not bad weather but they're doing road work, they'll put the blues on the side of the road when they'll have their crash truck with their attenuators. Like as they come up to where their work site, they'll throw the blue lights on, because just like you guys said, it's a different color. It's not that yellow. Just everybody runs yellow because anybody can run yellow. There's no really restrictions on it. There's a lot of states that you have restrictions on it, and then those states you can see because it's not like flooded the gates. It's not everyone's got their Amazon, Wish.com lights to throw on their security company car. So those states that have the laws for those, Amber actually does a little bit better because only vehicles and only people that should have the stuff should have it. So in the states that it's just flooded with it, having a secondary color that's not amber. So I think green works very similar to the way that blue does in the physical spectrum of light, and the hue is very similar to each other. So the chemical or the properties that they work with in the light and how they're absorbed in the light and how they get through like light and snow and things like that is very similar. So if you're in a state that they're, well, I don't want to have blue lights because I don't want you to be confused with the emergency vehicle. We'll give them green lights. It offers very similar to the same properties. And from the driver's perspective, some states they'll have green and blue that are outlawed completely. Hawaii's one of those states because blue is for law enforcement only. And they have green outlawed because at a distance and at certain hues, the way that light bends in the atmosphere and physics and math beyond my brain can handle, green can look blue at a distance. That's like why lights flicker when they're not actually flickering. It's just the way the white light works in the atmosphere. So they outlaw green because it looks like blue. So if you can't give them blue, give them green because it'll look like blue, but it's not really blue when you get up on them. So I know a few things about light, I guess.
Good, come finish my truck.
We didn't get any info from Dustin or Ded. Like, you guys didn't introduce yourselves. Dustin, you go ahead. You kind of went first.
I'm Tow Truck Dustin. I have a YouTube channel called Tow Truck Dustin. I just hit right about 100,000.
Share, follow him.
Right. For any of that's appreciated. I've been running tow trucks for about 5 years now. Before that, I was doing mostly off-road recovery on a, I guess you say, semi-professional basis. We had a nonprofit organization we started over here where we networked with tow companies and stuff like that. So I've been in the industry for probably around 12 years or so now, but towing for actually 5. I've never personally been hit or had any tow operators or anything that's been hit over here. Luckily, we've been pretty lucky on that end. We've never had anybody hit over here, at least not recently. I have worked several accidents though recently here within the last couple of years where most of the time it was like just like trucks loading up something on the side of the road or construction. Like the most recent one and probably the most memorable was during a Hurricane Beryl we had last year. We had all the utility trucks down here helping restore power and all that stuff. One of the big bucket trucks broke down on the shoulder of the road. I passed this bucket truck for like 3 or 4 days, and I just, in the back of my head, I was like, man, that thing's gonna get hit. Well, one day I passed it, and there was like an F-550 or whatever something, and a gooseneck trailer trying to winch this thing up onto it. And he was there for several hours. I passed it several times. And then eventually I heard on the scanner it got hit. And it was kind of messed up how the whole situation was. But it was an intoxicated driver. Long story short, an intoxicated driver just went and he dropped his tires off the edge of the road and lost control and slid into the back of the trailer with the truck and the driver sitting there strapping it down, and it threw him off the trailer onto the ground. He ended up having to get life flighted because he was knocked unconscious and everything. He got really hurt from it, and all because some intoxicated. And this was like in the middle of the day, like it wasn't at night, but the dude also didn't have lights on anything, you know. So that's kind of one of the things. I hear a bunch of the stuff where people will say, you know, having the flashing lights will make you a target, make people look at you. But even when all the accidents I've worked were ones where they didn't have lights going and they still got hit, you know, that or they was, construction, they had, a couple hundred yards of cones leading up to them and they still got hit, Well, so that's,
crazy.
If you look at, CHP, most 90% of CHP's accidents on the side of the highway when they're out enforcing the law and handing out tickets or they're just on a regular traffic stop, or they're on
Normal
POV,
routine, everyday
they're
stuff.
doing routine, just sitting at a construction sign. Almost everything I read on CHP getting smacked from behind, it's at high rated speeds, somebody being, on their phone or something like that. On top of that, they're intoxicated.
Yep.
I've never read anything on them that said that a driver's not been intoxicated and hit them.
Yeah, they're always either distracted or impaired.
Yep.
Yep.
Man.
Never one or the other.
Deadleg.
I was in the military. I did government contracting after that. And then when that writing on the wall looked like it was starting to go away, I became a federal cop. And I worked in Hawaii during Obama's tenureship. So I got to work with him and all that fun stuff. Got to do a lot of cool Secret Service things. When that looked like it was the writing was going to kind of be going away because of government, you know how we have that government spending and government contracts and all that stuff. Started going back to school. I went back to school for engineering and started my own company. I have a company called Deadleg Designs, and I work with a company called Bearded 3D. We design, make, and manufacture anything that you can think of for emergency lighting. So if you got it on your vehicle and like on your bed caps, ARE bed caps, we make wedges for those. Your control heads, we make mounts for your control heads. We make custom things for anything that you can think of for mounting lights and things like that. We make it at this point. So we've been doing that for the last 4 or 5 years, and I've been a lighting nerd for my entire life. So it was there's no oh, Josh became a cop and they have flashy lights on their car. Go figure. And if you ask me what was the thing I liked about being a cop the most, it was the flashy lights on the car. Yeah, it was So I mean, I love the lighting, and there's a lot of to me, there's a lot of coolness to it, but then there's a lot of science behind it now. There's a lot of things that you can, especially if you're in a state or you're in a municipality and you're in the government and you're listening to this and you're like, oh, I wonder if we could give them the lights, but they could only use them in certain circumstances. There's technology right now that is out there that is not astronomically pricey, but it'll cost you a little bit, but it'll fix the problem that you have, and you can geofence your roads. I could put equipment on your vehicles and tell you that you can only run amber lights during this situation. And when you're in other situations, you can get blue lights, or we can get it now. It's actually pretty cool to where emergency vehicles will talk to each other. So if you're coming to intersections and you're running emergent to go to the intersections, the vehicles will actually interact with each other to let both of the other driver know that, hey, there's a fire truck coming here too, dummy cop. You need to slow down, or hey, real heroes are coming, slow down, let the fire truck come through. So the cars will talk to each other. And then with integration with Haas through Fiat Chrysler and a bunch of other ones now, they'll have it in your vehicle system to where when the emergency vehicle is coming up, it'll say emergency vehicle approaching from behind. It'll come over your GPS and in your vehicle system. So like the sirens, we have high or low frequency sirens that you can actually feel it in your chest when they're coming through the intersections. But now
those rumblers.
Tell your car, hey, there's something going on besides just all the lights. But there's so much technology with the lighting. It's incredible the amount, just the specific hue of blue, not just you have a blue. There is a specific hue and a spectrum that you want to stay in because offers the best performance during daytime and nighttime operation. And whether your lights are a SAE class 1 light or an SAE class 3 light, there's a complete difference in that. One's to be used in a factory on a forklift, and the other is to protect your back end on the side of the road. Knowing the difference between those when you're looking on Amazon trying to find the cheapest one that you go for, it's cheap and it flashes, doesn't mean it's going to save your butt, especially if we're talking about this one piece of equipment. If you have it, you have a higher likelihood of going home at the end of the night. If you don't have it, your chances of not going up are going through the roof. This is a no-brainer to me. This is one of those weird times. Like when I was a cop, I used to buy some of my own equipment and people would, why? And I'm like, because I know if my life depends on this piece of equipment, I have trust in this. There's a reason why I pick this particular holster, because I've worked with this holster before. When I had that holster and I've tried to draw, there was an issue with it. Or when I had this handcuff case, I had an issue with it. Or when I had this light, I had an issue with it. There's a reason why I go with specific stuff. So there's a reason why you would buy some specific equipment. So because it's literally designed to make sure you go home at the end of the day. So I don't know. I'm very passionate about lights. I like lights. like
you're talking about like the ratings and stuff. The Amazon lights you got to be careful of because they could put the ratings on there. It doesn't mean that they're legit.
Yep.
Actually, I found a purple strobe light that's on the headache rack of my truck off of Amazon that I'm actually really impressed with.
Purple, there's a color. I don't think I've seen that on anything.
They're usually
hold
on like funeral escort cars.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys could see that. That's a purple strobe.
Okay.
And that's on the side of my headache rack.
Some places would put the purple because they think the purple is close to infrared, and infrared would be the pre-emissions, the ones that change your traffic lights. There's lights that tell the other lights, your traffic lights, what to do. So it'll give you a green light when you're coming through the intersection. Some people think that you look all kinds of crazy stuff on TikTok.
Oh, yeah.
You think that you can get all kinds of your TikTok PhDs.
That's why I just stick with Zips. If I order anything for my truck, I just go to Zips direct, and then, I know I know everything they have classified in their catalog is what's going to save our ass on the side of the road.
Yeah, Zips is selling the name brand stuff. Cody knows. I bought some inexpensive light bars just to get into red, and it kind of bit us in the ass. They lasted maybe a year, and then a module went out, and then another one went out, and then another one went out. And I mean, it was beautiful when it worked. It lit up the whole area, nice, bright red. You could see it for a real good distance.
About a month.
And they were cheap, $700 for a light bar for a 52-inch light bar. That's cheap. Look at some of the Federal Signals and the Wayland ones. You're $1,500 to stupid amounts, $300 or $3,000.
Deadleg knows all about that.
Yeah. But you get what you pay for. They were great with the warranty. They sent me out replacement modules left and right, no issues. But as soon as that warranty was up, they wouldn't even answer my emails. Yep. So this past year, I went and I bought 13 modules out of pocket. It was like almost about the cost of the light bar again, just to replace all the back modules. All the back modules went bad, or front modules. All the front modules went bad. So you get what you pay for. Get a Wayland, get a Federal Signal, get something that's a name brand that's been around forever. You're not going to have issues with it. You're going to have all the features that are on these new light bars are crazy. 2-3 different colors, being able to program it to do what you want. You could have it as basic as turn on and off, or shoot, Deadleg, you should probably be talking about this.
Oh, you could have it to where you're in drive, it's one thing. When you're in park, it's one thing. When you're headlights, it's one thing in drive. When you have your headlights off in drive, it's another thing. When you have your door open, it's another thing. I could turn lights off when you have turn things off. I could turn your PTO on. I could put an alarm on it. If the limitations are literally sometimes what you can think of.
Yeah.
And then the next part becomes budget. But limitations are almost limitless with what you can do and the technology. And I don't work for any of the companies that make the lights. We make light stuff for the lights, but I don't make any of the lights. But I know of a lot of these companies, and a lot of them are in with the manufacturers of the tow trucks now. So you like the big guys at Miller's, stuff like those big, giant heavy wreckers and things like that. They've got all of these new systems in it. So when the trucks are in park, or when your PTO's on, or when you have one side of the lights, you can turn the entire side of the truck on, just one button. It'll do everything on one side. Or like with the geofencing and things like that, if you can get it to where there's a little bit of homework ahead on the back end, but you can get it to where the stuff will just do things automatically. So if you're on the freeway, you'll have a little bit of a faster pattern, a little bit of more lights on. Whereas if you're on a country rural road, or where you get a little bit less traffic, you can have less lights. Or when it gets dark out, you can dim them down, or you could do anything that you could think of with this stuff. You can have it to where you're in drive. It'll kill any emergency vehicle colors. So the only way that you'll have blue or red lights on is if it's in park. It'll have to have the conditions of the vehicle has to be on. The lights are on, the vehicle's in park. You have to create a condition to where as soon as it goes to drive, it removes the ability to have all of those colors to put on.
We need that. And that would be perfect for like our system that we're trying to put in place here, where it's like, oh yeah, you can't have red and blues. It's like, here's why we can have red and blues. because
So
we'll pull up the
this-
scene.
Dude, but seriously, the technology like he's talking about is so nice because there's a few companies down here that have gotten some new trucks in the Sacramento area, and there's a few companies like I believe they're based out of Colorado, Mountain Recovery. They black and orange, everything they got. Some of their trucks have that new technology, and when they're all on a scene together, all their trucks are doing the same thing.
That's awesome.
It's like this 23 International. The blue lights will shut off at 10 miles an hour.
See, and that's it's controlled by speed. Because
Yeah,
that
if you're
gives them a
moving
point
around
too,
on
where
scene, it stays on. But if you're
he's
cruising on the
slowing
highway,
down.
it shuts off.
He's slowing
Exactly.
down. Boom, 10 miles an hour. The blues hit. Everybody's like, "Whoa!"
That's nice.
No, they won't come on if you slow down that way. But as soon as you get, once you leave the scene, if you forget to turn them off, they will. If I don't have my override on, that's how I was able to do the memorial runs over there, is I put an override in.
Oh, okay.
But that hardly ever gets turned on, because like when I'm out here on 97 pulling a car out, doing a wreck or anything, I have the blues on, and then sometimes I forget to turn that switch off, and it automatically turns off.
Nice. Well, going back into safety and stuff like that, the little lights, I mean, Dustin just gave me mine. I freaking love it. It's the small one. I'm gonna end up getting the bigger one once
the Guardian Angels.
Yeah, the Guardian Angels. That small one, even that little one, dude. That little one packs a freaking punch. I just used it the other day on a
super bright for how small they are.
Oh, this thing is great.
I was just thinking, I wished I would have put mine on before I came in to do this.
Before we started recording, I'm sitting here thinking, I was like, I should have grabbed mine so I at least had it to
I left mine in the truck too.
I normally put mine on each shoulder whenever I'm out. That's anytime I'm out in the dark. Pretty much bet I've got mine on.
I'll even stick them on the truck. I'll stick them on the truck because running the wrecker. If I'm pulling something out of the ditch, I'll stick it on the side of the truck because I'm way off the side of the road anyway. So
I do it whatever side's facing the rear for me. Yeah. So whatever side I'm going to be on, it's going to flash that side.
Because the Angel,
now the Guardian Angels,
point, not the back.
You do have the red and blue one?
I've got the red and blue one, yeah.
Mine is amber, I think.
I've recently went back to the ambers, but I used to have the red and blues. But generally, what I'll generally do is I don't know if y'all have seen them. The Night Beams Road Commander lights. So they're triangles, like the normal like road triangles, but they're LED, and you can do like amber, red, blue, green. Yeah, you can do all those. I have a set of 5 of those, and anytime I'm on the side of the road, I know I'm going to be on the side of the road for an extended amount of time. I'll go and I'll set those out, and control lane. I actually just had a video that I released where I did that, where I had to get into the oncoming lane because a car hit the guardrail, and that's what I use to control the lane while I'm over there. They're called Night Beams Road Commanders. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I just pulled them up. I'll throw a picture of them up here, and we'll put a link down at the bottom. They're pretty neat looking. I've never seen those before.
I haven't either.
I'll send y'all some clips of them that y'all can use or y'all can go pull them off of my videos off of YouTube to put into this, for the final version.
I've seen the little hockey pucks that the fire department uses. I've seen those. They're pretty good, but that thing looks like it'd be really bright.
But so they're really bright because I even use them during the daytime. And one of the cool things is they come with their magnetic on the bottom, so they actually have these little bases where you can fold the legs out.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It's got a pack of 5
that way they sit up higher, but they also, when the legs are collapsed, you can stick it into the top of a traffic cone.
Oh, nice.
So then you can have your traffic cones out and then stick those on top of them.
And for a pack of 5, it's only $100.
What?
I'm pretty sure you're looking at the wrong thing.
Single. Yep. No.
Okay.
There we go.
Say, I know you're looking at the wrong thing.
$20 a piece.
Pack of 5 is $4.24.
I'll be buying them tonight if they were that.
That's the Timu brand. That's the Timu brand.
You got to be looking at the wrong ones.
No, I just scrolled down. My phone didn't want to do what I wanted it to.
That's personally what I do, and then on top of that, I'm pretty sure because it's not attached to your truck, you can use those in red and blues, even if it's not, technically legal, because, it's not attached to your truck. You can go and have red and blues leading up to your truck and then have the ambers run or whatever is legal in your state, and then that'll get people to move over too.
The troopers told us that as long as it's not on the truck, if you're wearing it, the guardian angels are completely legal. It just can't be attached to the truck.
Right.
Hence, cone that lights up red and blue.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
But yeah, definitely those. I just used mine for the first time the other day, and it was freaking awesome at night. So.
Yep. Another thing I like doing with the Guardian Angels is they have like a LE mode, and you just press like that one front button, and then it'll have the white light facing, like so you feel like your personal work lights, but then it'll strobe all the other sides. So a lot of times if I'm working on the side of the road, I won't even turn on my work lights on the truck. That way I'm not blinding everybody with white light. They can, my strobes will be running, but I can still see what I'm doing, but people can see me. You know what I mean? You're not just unnecessarily blinding them with white light.
Right.
I've always wanted to get a set of those things, but I never have because nobody I know has ever had them, and I've never
been able to
get a personal opinion on them before.
I keep them in all of my vehicles. I keep the ones in the tow truck. I have some in my Jeep that I use for off-road recovery. Like they're awesome lights.
Yeah, rent's due right now, but I'm getting ready to order the Elite after rent's paid. So
like the Elites on Amazon are like 139, and the minis are what, like $100?
No, the minis are 50.
They're only $50.
Yeah, the minis are $50. And a lot of times if you watch, they have sales where they
right now there's a sale going for them. So right now would be the time to go look if you're going to grab it.
I've seen them where if you buy the Elite, you get a mini free. I've seen those pop up a lot.
Yep. They do that just about every major holiday.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Art's over here dying in the 35-degree weather right now.
Yeah, poor Klamath.
I just got in my truck and started it.
So his truck's not even warm.
Oh man,
it's not even warm. It's down.
It's 65 in Texas. I'm sweating over here.
Oh, that must be nice.
Oh, I don't want to hear it.
I'm in short sleeves. Like this is what I've been wearing to work all day.
It was nice here. I can't complain about today.
It was nice out here in Medford today.
Yeah,
I'm going up to North Dakota to go work in the oil fields, and for the last 2 weeks, it's been like negative 20 degrees out there.
Screw that. Y'all can keep that up there.
We're going to the good weather right now.
Man. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. Is there anything anybody else would like to say before we end the podcast for the night?
Share it and make people start slowing down.
That's a big thing. We all got families to go home to at the end of the day. And
just because you're in a rush to get home from work doesn't mean we're not on our work job still trying to get home to do the same thing.
We want to get home from work. You'll get there. We want to make it too.
Yeah, we leave our houses knowing we might not come back. So
truck or emergency response vehicle, like they're part of your family member, because if it was your family member and something happened to them on the side of the road, it definitely changed your life.
Exactly.
And you need to imagine what happened to everybody else that has a family.
Yep. And again, people who have been hit, people who have direct impact, lost somebody, it's serious. It's really a serious subject, and it needs to get pushed bigger than what it is.
Well, and the faster that the road is cleared, the faster the people stop slowing down to look at a wreck that's not there, and you can get home faster.
Yep.
The from the cop side of the things, if you're thinking about, I wonder if they should have red. I always, when people debate this, what do you want? Do you want them sitting in traffic, or do you want to get them there so you can get these vehicles off the road so you can clear the road? I was a traffic cop. You clear the road, period. So the faster that you can get them there, the faster you get the road cleared. And then once they're there, if they're all run over, there's nobody else to come clear the road. So let them have some blue lights on the back of the truck so they don't get run over once they're there. I was always a proponent. You guys are, for the whether you're not first responders, not first responders, when you guys get run over on the side of the road, it affects your community. Just the same as when a firefighter or a police officer gets run over. So you guys, in my book, you guys right along there because you're responding to an emergency call. You're responding out there in the same side of situations with the police and the fire and EMS. A lot of times you are there waiting for them to move the bodies out so you can do your job.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get to unsee that. You don't get extra pay for that. You don't get to, just because you're not a first responder, you don't have to come just hang out there for. No, you guys are still first responders. So if anybody says that you guys are not, the line to argue against that is forms to the left.
Well,
we don't need a
appreciate
secondary
that.
accidents. We got to get the scene cleared
Yeah.
as quick as possible. They taught us that in Tim's class. You know, ODOT's got a time limit that they're striving to reach that time limit. They want the road cleared as soon as possible. I think they said something about has to, like they're pushing for an hour minimum on the heavy wrecks. And I mean the light duty stuff,
depending on how the heavy wreck is.
correct.
Are they finally upping the time? Because last time, because when I remember when I was working for that company in Medford, they gave us a call and it was all the way out in Shady Cove. Well, when you're in a regular tow truck coming out of White City, it takes you what, 30 minutes to get there, 25 minutes. But when you're in a heavy and you gotta, work with all these other cars that are gonna be in front of you and drive at a slower pace than you're gonna drive, probably, it takes us an hour.
Yeah.
To get out to Shady Cove out there, maybe an hour and a half, and they want to deem that part of our rotation line out there, and then they want to chew us out when we're showing up late. And it's like, what do you?
I literally just had that situation happen with a rotation. I just had that happen yesterday with a rotation. I went and did a city rotation call. I estimated them. It said 19 on my map. I said, give me 21 minutes with traffic. Dispatch calls me back, says, hey, Medford wants to know where you're at. I said, it hasn't even been the 20 minutes that I gave you. I'm 17 minutes in and I'm around the corner. But it's like I gave myself 3-minute leeway.
Medford's
Right.
a strict 20 minutes. If you're not there in 20 minutes, they start calling.
I was there at 17 and they called me when I was around the corner. Yesterday.
They would rather wait. They'll cancel you and give another company another 20 minutes rather than wait the extra 2 minutes for you to get on scene. Like that's actually happened.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
County does it too. And
County's been very, very good with us. County's been very, very good with us. We haven't had any issues with county. We give them an ETA. And I mean, because we're covering all of Jackson County. So we could have to get all the way up to damn near Crater Lake.
It's been over. Yeah, it's been over a year since I had an issue with it.
Yeah, they've been great with us, and Oregon State Police too. They, we give them as accurate an ETA as we can, and sure, we'll get the phone call sometimes because it's taken a little bit longer. But I haven't had anybody except for Medford actually cancel us, and it's only happened once.
I had that happen a while back, where another company, they called rotation first on for one car, but then it took them. They forgot to call for the second record. Well, by the time I got the call, I was there within my 20 minutes.
You have a video of that, don't you?
I have that one on video. I showed up in my time. I started getting chewed out because the other record was late, and they assumed it was me because they assumed they all got called at the same time, but there was a breakdown in communication to where by the time I actually got the call, I was there within my 20 minutes. And I literally got there loaded and was cleaning up by the time the other record showed up. And he should have been there way before I was.
Yeah.
But they're sitting there making the calls, like, hey, where's everybody at? And then I got chewed out on scene because the other record was late, not because I was late.
I have another valid point to make too. Like you've been on it. It's on your channel on the video when you came out here with us, grabbing your record and stuff like that. You can ask the cop to stay for you. Usually they're cool about it, but a lot of times lately, for me recently, they've just been booking off.
They must not crazy. Like you.
And that's what they're doing over here in Klamath County too.
They're just taking off. As soon as they give me my tow ticket, they're like, all right, see ya. And I'm like,
literally, like that one day, it was literally he handed it and he was gone. I could turn around, I was like, where's the cop?
Wow.
Like we ain't even got the chains off the end of the bed yet.
Nothing.
Like he's gone.
I watched that video and Cody's like, oh, well, there he goes.
Do you have to put it up at an angle?
Okay.
Like that.
You get it.
My cops don't ever stay for me.
Oh, he left?
And I wonder why.
The cop left?
Every time.
That's weird.
I've got multiple videos where cops constantly are sleeping.
That's wild.
We've had several this last winter storm that we get called out for rollovers, and I see the cop leaving before I'm even to the wreck.
Oh, wow.
That's
They'll
wild.
flag it off and leave.
They don't even flag it
Yeah.
off if they hear that I'm coming.
See, it's crazy because not that long ago, there was a wreck out past Chiloquin, coming 97 south. It was a truck and trailer. He dipped over into the ditch with a trailer full of white paint. Well, for some reason, they privately requested us to come out, considering it wasn't a lane blockage. OSP allowed it, and I couldn't get anybody out there to come sit with us. The only person I had in my contact list, and Art knows him, was James, the incident response guy, James. I called James and I said, I need a guy out here with a sign or something blocking the road for me. I said, there's no way I can pull this out of the ditch without partially blocking this lane off. Like, I have no room to clear this thing. So he showed up and called OSP and bitched them out and made them show up, and he put traffic cones down. He sat there the entire recovery with me. Just James, nobody else.
I'm not trying to get anybody in trouble, but there is only one guy I could call on, and if he's not busy, we'll get out there.
Yeah,
And
ODOT's
all my
been
guys
pretty
out
good
here
on
know
our side.
too. You know, if I see you on the side of the road, I'm stopping and pulling over. I got your 6, bro. I'll stop, turn on my lights, and I'll sit there.
So ever since this happened with Spencer, we do that. It doesn't matter the name on the door. If we see each other out there, we stop and assist. And I've pulled out a couple vehicles with Ace. They've helped me. I mean, we just help each other out. I do the same thing if I come over there to Medford or I seen any of you guys out there on the road.
We need to be more like that everywhere. Like we said that, I think, in episode 1, we were like, stop being competition with everybody. Like, I get everybody's in a different business. Everybody's hungry for the same thing. Okay, cool. But put your fucking ego aside, pardon my French, and keep one another safe. Like
we all have families to go home to. So the faster that we could get each other off the road, the faster we could all get to our families.
Literally, one of my sons just turned 11 today. Like,
Happy birthday, little Cody.
Rip.
Happy birthday.
But it's like, we all have families to go to. We have loved ones at home. We have animals. We have jobs to return to the next day. You know what I mean? It's a rotation for us.
All I gotta say is if I pull up behind you and I'm blocking a lane for you and you're in a flatbed tow truck and I'm in my heavy, you better pipe down with what you're talking about.
Hey, I'll still pull that heavy around, okay, buddy?
We know how to flat tow around here.
Oh, I'm sure you know.
There is actually a Facebook group called Guardrail Angels, and that's what it's all about. It's the tow truck community and the guys that will block for other drivers. It's been around for a long time. I've been following that page for years, but there is, I got to be the killjoy here. You are putting yourself at liability. If you get hit blocking for somebody, it's your ass. Like your insurance is not going to cover. Like they'll fight it. They may cover it, but they will fight it because you're basically putting yourself in unnecessary risk. They don't see it the way we see it. We're protecting family, but you are putting yourself at unnecessary risk by blocking for somebody. I'm still going to do it any chance I get. If I'm not loaded, if I'm not going to a call and I see somebody stopped, I'm going to pull up behind you, give you a little wave. I'm not trying to steal your call. I'm not, I'm watching your ass for you and making sure
I'm staying warm. I'm
safe.
Probably scrolling TikTok to be honest with you, but
I'm not going to get out of the truck. I'll crank my heat or crank my AC depending on the weather, but just know that I'm there. I'm there for you.
Several years ago, I was coming back from I was coming back from Portland, and there was a tow truck up there just north of Eugene, and his overheads weren't working, and he was trying to pull a car out of the median. So I stopped and I ran my lights. Mm-hmm. And the next day, his boss actually, because he came up to shake my hand thanking me. The next day, his boss called my company and thanked us for protecting their driver.
Yeah.
And it's simple courtesy like that. Like, it goes a long way.
Well, he was in the hammer lane in the median, and nobody was slowing down. So I was like, nah, this isn't going to fly. And by the time I strolled up close to him, because I was about a mile back when I realized what was going on. And I just started slowing traffic down over there with all my lights going, taking up that lane because his truck was in the fast lane.
Yeah.
That's even in my personal pickup. Like I got a light bar in my personal pickup, and if I'm in that lane, I'll turn the light bar on, and we're all slowing down. I don't care. I mean, I don't care where we're at, whether the cops got something to say to me about it or not. He can give me a ticket, but
I'll block the lanes for school buses too. I do the same thing. I'll put my truck long ways, turn on my lights, and I'll sit there way far back when I see that bus out there at the stop sign out. If I see a bus, I'll sit there, I'll block the lane. Pass me, I dare you. Because it's going to look stupid on you and your insurance if you hit me while there's a bus sitting right there and it's on camera and I got my lights on and they got their lights on. You're done, buddy.
Yeah. Exactly.
But it's keeping safe. Little, small shit, keeping safe.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Well, thank you very much. This has been a great episode. We were running a little long here, but worth it. I'll put some links below for the stuff we mentioned, any socials for you guys.
We'll tag you guys too. Make sure you guys are all good and your company pages, etc. Shoot a message to us. Let us know where you want us to put exactly. Yep. Everybody else, like, share, subscribe. We definitely appreciate everything and everybody so far. Everybody who joined us tonight, again, thank you. Huge thank you. I know it wasn't like, oh, we have everything planned. I thank you guys all for making the time to do this, all on different time zones and everything.
I think it worked out pretty good. I cut it right. I literally walked in the door at like 5:58.
Yeah,
I really wanted to start recording at 6 o'clock, so it was close for me, but that's tow life.
Yeah.
But it's incredible that you got 5 out of the 6 of us here work for jobs where your phone literally could, at a moment's notice, you guys have to leave, and you got to sit together for an hour.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I had to answer the phone a couple times. You guys just didn't know it.
Okay.
I'm surprised mine didn't go off because I got called for rotation earlier and then I got put back up on the list. So I was expecting it to be on. That's why I would have normally been in a hoodie, but I'm still in the work clothes because I'm expecting to leave.
He's like, I'm waiting right now.
Yeah, I already know. The moment that I take them off, County's gonna call me and be like, "Hey."
As soon as you go to eat dinner or hop in that shower, you're done.
Every time.
It's always right when you eat dinner, take a nice hot shower, you lay down in your bed. Next thing you know, your phone's ringing. You're like, what the
no way.
Insert the tow book notification here.
Yep.
I would make the sound, but it still gives me PTSD.
Yeah, you hear it in your sleep.
I'm over here looking at my phone like, what's coming in now?
Sweet.
All right. Well, like Cody said, make sure you like, follow, subscribe, share with friends, and be safe out there. And see you on the next one.
See you guys.
See you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Be safe.